So I think it's a little too few people at the moment to use the breakout sessions. So I think maybe if you have questions about it, just everybody, you don't need to use the chat box. Obviously, Salma, you don't have a choice. But if you have questions, just ask them. But I want you to try to attempt this first part. So I want you to open a text editor. I don't know if you've used gedit yet, but it's exactly the same as if you go to Ubuntu and you search for something. Just type in gedit and you'll get something like a notebook or a notepad, a text editor opening up. Then I want you to do the same exercise that we've been doing for this last 5 sessions that we've had. I want you to create a string or use a string called this 80 sequence and store it in a variable name called myDNA. And then I want you to write a mini algorithm. Again, we've done this many times before, where you're going to calculate the 80 content of this string. At least work on up until there. And there's a warning here. This is not asking for the proportion of A's plus T's, but the proportion of 80s. So if you can still recall, we used the .count method. And then we said, for example, A content is equal to myDNA.count. And then you open the brackets and counted the A's. And then you did the same for T's. Except this time now you're not going to use separately for A's and for T's, but you're actually calculating how many times you're seeing 80 following each other. So this whole sequence. So it's just one line, myDNA.count 80. So just do it at least up until this part. So the first 3. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. This is going to be a very vocal session. So just, even if you're stuck by how to find gedit, let me, Bea, anybody know, and we will assist. But I think it's important that you learn this part now, and it will make it easier down the road when we go, because we're going to explore a little about how to optimize functions. So, is everybody okay with this part? You're going to attempt it?
Yes, it's okay. Thanks.
Tracy, Salma is asking if can I use Nano in terminal? And the answer is yes.
So what do you mean by your terminal? Do you mean the command line, like the normal?
Nano in terminal.
Oh yeah. As long as you know how to save the file so you're gonna eventually save the file to your desktop. So if you're going to use Nano, then maybe to simplify it, make sure that when you writing the code in your terminal, that you're already sitting in your desktop, so that when you save it, the file is saved to your desktop.
Yeah, as a text editor. Okay, Salma, any text editor would work. Thanks.
Yeah. Just don't ask me about Vim again, because I always have to check again that escape and the colon and the whatever stuff. I always have to check how to use it all the time. But you can use any text editor of your preference. And please don't feel bad if you need to go back to your old scripts to check how you've done it, because most people do that anyway, and they Google it. And even physics guys sometimes need to look up their formulas, so don't feel bad. Okay, did everybody at least get to number 3, where you are able to calculate the 80 content? I hear typing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I started in Jupyter. I don't know if what I was doing was correct. But okay, I got something.
So you can start writing it in Jupyter, but I want you to copy it from Jupyter, or cut it from Jupyter, and paste it into a normal editor, like a text editor. So anything. Yes. Yeah, I wrote mine in Jupyter as well, and then I cut it from there. It's fine as long as you can get to the next part. So now can you guys store in the same way that you would save a normal file, Control S or whichever way you do it, file save. Can you save the file as this name? Because Python file names have the extension .py, and obviously we give it an intuitive name. So can you store the file name on your desktop as count_at.py? And then after you've done that, I want you to open your command line. So as you can see here, I'm in Python for Biologists, but my file isn't there. I saved my file to my desktop. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and I don't know if you guys are comfortable in Linux, but normally I do, it's the quickest way, CD, and then I just click enter, and then I go CD again, and I navigate to my desktop. But obviously you can if you wanted to. So if I'm in here, you could just have gone CD and gone, like /home. If you know the whole path to there, then you could have typed in the whole path. But so on my desktop, I'm not gonna ls so that you can see, but I know the file name is called count80.py because that's how I saved it. So how you call your Python script is you just write Python the same way that you would if you're in your terminal and you're trying to type, or you're trying to go to Python to write a little mini script. Now you will write Python and then the file name that you saved on your desktop, which in our case is count80.py, and you will see that it gives me a result. Okay, I'm gonna share this. Okay, so this would be more or less the part that you wrote. So you would have your string called my DNA, and you would put that string that I gave you in there. I'm assuming that you guys can see my notes. Then the one thing that I didn't say, and this is again, like I said, when you're sitting with somebody, whether it's a client or whether it's your own script that you need to write, you normally will optimize as you go along. So here, again, the customer might not make it clear that they want all 80, whether it's small letters or capital letters, and you kind of have to ask, do you want me to only find 80 in caps, or do you want me to find an 80 regardless of whether there's a capital letter or small letter? So I assumed, or what I actually wanted, but no one asked, and that is what you should do. You should ask what I mean. Do I mean 80 content of, and I made it clear in the instructions, but I just said 80 content, and I put a warning there. But I know if I did not put the warning, some of you would have gone and calculated the A content and then the T content, and then given me, the way we did it before, the A content plus the T content. Because that's what you saw before, and that's the pitfalls. Don't think that because you've done it before and this reads more or less similar to what you've done before, that this is exactly the same problem that you had in the past. This is the reason why I gave this exercise, for those very two reasons. The one, this may sound similar to what we did before, and it is more or less similar, but there are little nuances that are different. So here, I wanted to know how many times this double nucleotide or this dinucleotide is found in the string. And then I wanted to know when the 80 is found regardless of whether it's small or capital letters, and for that reason you would have needed to convert the string to uppercase to make sure that you catch all of them. And then obviously this was simple arithmetic. I just said before, we normally split this over two lines. We would have this as length is equal to, and then we use the function len my DNA, and we would normally do this separately and put that in a variable. I've just done it in one line because this should be familiar to you, and if not, then you can look back in the notes and see that we've done it before. And then print AT content. Then the same as what Themba said, I copied this and I stored it in a text editor. And I saved the file on my desktop, and then from there I call the file. So I want to know from you guys, who have you managed to now, or while I'm talking, can you try to see if you can call your file from your desktop? Now, at this stage, I don't really care whether you did this part incorrectly, whether you maybe calculated the A content plus the T content. I just want to know whether you are comfortable being able to call your own Python script from your desktop. So if you can try doing that. And if you want to, you can copy this code to make sure that the content in your file does work. But just try and see whether you can call your .py file.
I was able to call my file, but unfortunately I'm using a Windows machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should try and install Anaconda. Have you?
Yes, I do have Anaconda.
Okay, you're using Anaconda. Okay. So then you're only using the Jupyter notebook. I know you can install Python on Windows as well, because before I installed Linux, I did use Python on Windows. Then you should also be able to use CMD. Yeah.
Yes.
And yours was fine. You didn't have issues, Themba?
I did not have issues.
Okay, cool.
Except that at first I had forgotten few commands, so
yeah.
I was just playing around with them.
Yeah, and in Windows, I think the slashes go the other way around, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, the path. Okay, the other ladies are quiet, or have you guys managed to get to call the script? And if not, can you perhaps try and figure out what went wrong so that I can try and assist?
Not yet. So I'm still trying to look at it.
Okay, where are you at now? Do you want to share your screen and show, or do you want to talk us through where you're stuck?
I actually did the exercise on, what is it called? On Bash. So, because the Jupyter doesn't, I don't know how to play around the Jupyter notebook. So as you were talking, I was just going around the Jupyter notebook online and trying to see how to use it actually.
Okay, so did you type the code into Jupyter Notebook, or you said you typed it into Bash itself?
Yes, I've done it on the terminal.
Okay, so on a terminal, can you copy that code? I think it's Control-Shift-C.
Yes, I copied already.
Okay, and you pasted it? Where did you paste it?
I wanted to paste it on a text editor and then save on my desktop.
Okay.
But I can't seem to find anyone that would see.
Did you try to type in this? Just type in this words Gedit, like G-E-D-I-T.
Yes, I did initially. It took me to their website, but then I can't.
Are you on Ubuntu? Is it maybe not installed, or it should be?
Oh, okay. Yes, maybe not installed, or maybe installed and I don't know how to use it. I've never opened it. I've never used it.
No, but when you type in, let me just see if I can. I'm not sure how to share that part of my screen now. But you know that little on the left hand side where you normally do your searches, right? Whether you're searching for, if you just click on there on the show applications and you type in gedit, what does it give you? Where you type to search, does it not? If you type it, does it not show text editor?
Yes, there is one. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so use that one.
I can. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you just paste it in there, and then again you save it as a count at.py file, and then you should then exit your bash. your
Yeah,
Python
it's
in
done
the
now. Thank you.
Selma, are you doing okay over there? Selma's okay. Have you managed to call the script from your desktop? I think the other two ladies who struggled last time, awesome, Salma. The other two ladies aren't here, so they'll just have to watch the videos afterwards. Okay, Abiola, are you completely done? You've called it and you got a result?
I'm trying to call it now, so I'm just on CD, and then I want to try do CD desktop.
Okay.
And see what it's going to
I'm
give
going
me.
to wait for you because I want to know that you know how to do it. No pressure.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Go for it.
Thank you.
Okay. Desktop is with a capital D, right?
Sorry?
Desktop, capital D.
Okay.
Just if you, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then
to call it, so to call it, you have to type Python first. No. Okay. Exit this. So to call it, you have to type Python and then your script name.
Python.
And then space.
Okay.
And then the name of your script, which is the count 80. Just type count and then tab to finish it. That way you also know if you press tab. No. Back.
Okay, I should just type count.
Yeah, see how far you get if you press tab. Nope. Okay, go back. Backspace. Underscore. Tab. Are you typing tab or are you typing space?
It's space.
No, go back, type tab. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now enter. Okay, so there's something that, can you go cat and then cat, C-A-T, and then again the space and the file name. So just type count and then tab. Okay. Okay. So you didn't copy the information properly into your file.
Okay.
Did you write that
yes,
part?
I just wrote it out myself, like 80, like that. I wrote it into the text editor and then saved.
No, okay, so the part that we did, right, the little algorithm that we wrote where you're supposed to save this string that you have there now in the variable name mydna and then calculate the 80 content. You're supposed to paste all of that into your script. So can you go up? Okay, I just want to, okay, so that part there,
here.
Okay. Did you go Control Shift C?
Control Shift C.
Yeah.
And then
you have to go to your desktop then, which you probably won't be able to see. And then paste it into that script.
Okay.
That's the count80.py script.
Yeah, I have just done that.
Okay. So now obviously none of those forward that arrows and things need to be in there, right? So you need to remove whatever is.
Oh, okay. All of the forward arrows shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there, and your algorithm is not complete because you didn't do the part where you're actually doing the arithmetic, where you're calculating the content. Can you stop sharing your screen and I'll just go back to that and you know what to put into your script because your script isn't finished. Okay. Okay, so you're supposed to have, you only have up until here. You've written this part out. You've defined this variable and that one, but you haven't done the math where you divide this by the length and stored that in a variable. Do you get what I'm saying? So you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to do this divided by this and store that in a variable, and that needs to be printed.
Okay.
And then you also didn't include the DNA.upper.
I didn't do the DNA.upper, no.
Yeah. But that's fine for now. If you can just do this part, because I just want you to get to the part where all of this is in there.
Okay.
So that when you call the script, you actually get a number, a value, because it executed the math over here. So once you get to the print part, then you go back to your terminal. So you close that, save that script, you go back to your terminal and you try to run or to call that script again with Python and the file name, count80.py.
Okay.
And then you should get one of two values, depending on whether you used this line or not. But you should at least get a value.
So we are back to desktop.
Okay. So you can also use the up arrow on your keyboard just to see. Yeah. Then you should get the one you ran last. So if you enter now. So did you put this? Did you put the 80 part in a string, in a variable name called my DNA?
Yes, I did.
And then when you called it, when you said the print statement, did you write print and then whatever the variable name is that you put this into? Or did you print 80?
Let me share the whole screen so you can see that as well.
Okay. Okay, that line, can you remove the third line there? The one that just says 80, because that line, not, no, go all the way up. Actually, you've done, okay, now remove everything. You see that where the 2 is?
Yes.
Go, from the 2 all the way up, remove all of that. Okay, my DNA, that upper. Okay. Right, save that and now run your desktop. Run it again.
So it's going to be
up arrow. Okay. Now it's working. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You got a lot of tabs open there. Really doing some work. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everybody for your patience. And for allowing everybody to just kind of work at their pace. So for those of you who are interested in knowing how to if you had to, now obviously in this case it won't make any sense because you could have just typed it onto Jupyter. But if you're sitting in Jupyter and you want to run somebody else's Python file, let's say the file is called count80.py, just remember that you can run it from Jupyter, but you have to put, instead of just Python, you have to put this little exclamation mark, bang, normally called bang Python. And then in this case, I'm sitting in in my Dropbox. So I'm going to specify the path name where the file is, and then obviously run it from there, and I should still get the result. Okay, so just so you know, you can run scripts from Jupyter, but you can't just run it with Python.